right here on Flo 94.9 FM. This is the flow of God's own state. My name is Michael Oni. The headlines. President Buhari approves immediate implementation of new minimum wage. Senate confirms Tanko Mohammed as Chief Justice of Nigeria. Abia State government dispels alleged Ruga settlement plan. And on the foreign scene, Sudan military and civilians sign deal to end deadly turmoil. The details shortly. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the immediate implementation of the 30,000 naira new minimum wage for federal public service workers currently earning below the minimum wage. The chairman, National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission, Richard Egbule, stated this while addressing a news conference on the implementation of the new national minimum wage in Abuja.
This approval takes effect from 18th April 2019. And the salary structures affected are as follows. Consolidated Public Service Salary Structure COMS, Consolidated Health Salary Structure CONHES, Consolidated Research and Allied Institution Salary Structure, Consolidated Tertiary Institution Salary Structure, and Consolidated Tertiary Educational Institution Salary Structure.
He explained that negotiation is ongoing for the remaining civil service cadre.
The negotiations between the federal government of Nigeria and the Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council for officers, on the consequential adjustment arising from the new national minimum wage for officers who earn salaries above 30,000 per month before it will continue.
And still on labor matters, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union under the Joint Action Union Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi branch have protested against disparity in payment of allowances between non-academic and academic members of staff. The University of Nigeria Nsukka branch of the union also joined the nationwide protest declared by their national body.
You can see the skewed sharing formula of the recent tranche that was released by federal government. 80 for the academics and 20% for 3 unions, the non-teaching unions, to share 20.
We find it difficult to understand why the federal government should share money meant for allocation to universities over end allowances.
Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has pledged to invite the protesting unions for a dialogue to forestall any industrial action.
The need for us to intervene is important because we have to have a stable educational environment. We already have so much issues bedeviling the education in this country, and therefore it is important that we don't allow any strike action, because this next level that we want to reach really requires that we produce graduates from all our institutions who are well trained.
Nigeria Medical Association are not happy with alleged inaction of the federal government to address poor state of primary health care in the country. The NMA president, Dr. Francis Adedayo Faduyile, stated this while addressing State House correspondents after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari.
We are not satisfied with the progress that has been made at the level of the primary health care centers. We have suggested to the president that we should look at ways of encouraging the states to employ medical personnel and other health professionals so that we can properly staff those are the primary health care centers.
The Senate has confirmed Justice Tanko Mohammed as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. Justice Mohammed was confirmed after a screening which lasted for about 90 minutes, in which he responded to questions on the administration of criminal justice, corruption, and the poor funding of the judiciary.
If need be, we take a holistic look at our criminal laws. Let us amend them. Let us take care of all these kind of things. Let us provide adequately so that it will serve to inhibit the practices of this kind of thing. We know there are laws, quite all right now, but for those who are all out to see that They are saying, I'm reading from far distance, they are saying that, what is there? The law is not adequate for me.
The Senate is proposing a national security summit to address security situation in the country. The proposition was part of contributions to a motion raised by Senator Ayo Akinyelure on the murder of Mrs. Funke Olakunrin, daughter of Afenifere leader.
We have to demand, Mr. President, an action by our security forces. We have to demand an action by the presidency. We need to stand up and find a solution to this problem, Mr. President.
It's very obvious that our internal security is in shambles. It's nothing to write to be vowed.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, believes it's the duty of the Senate to organize the security summit to prefer lasting solutions to the incessant killings across the country.
It will be the duty of the Senate to hold an all-encompassing and all-inclusive national summit on security, including the executive arm of government, of course, because we have to work together with them to ensure that we address this situation.
And back home in Abia State, the Attorney General and the Commissioner for Justice in the state, Uche Ihedewa, has dispelled the alleged claims by the traditional ruler of Umobasi community, as a Professor Owala, that the proposed trailer park at Arungwa in Osisioma local government area of the state is for Ruga settlement. The commissioner made these clarifications while addressing the press following what he described as unfounded allegations that Abia State government has given out the proposed trailer park land for Ruga settlement in the state.
Federal Ministry of Works, Transport and Housing requested for land to establish trailer parks in the course of reconstruction of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. This request came 2014. And about that, this project was going on in all parts of the country where there are commercial activities. If you go to Lagos today, you see the menace of trailers. So that was the idea, that around any town there should be a trailer park.
He explained that Abia State government does not subscribe to the Ruga program under any guise.
I challenged him to please produce the letter of allocation issued to Federal Ministry of Transport for even the trailer park. There is none. It will be contrary to what the government of the entire Southeast stands for, to allow anything that is in the nature of Ruga, because the governor has been emphatic, and I do hope that he will apologize to Abia State government in 7 days. Otherwise, we will meet him in court.
Abia State government is warning tricycle operators to rid their union of criminals and maintain a functional database of their members henceforth. The chief press secretary to the governor, Onyebuchi Ememanka, who gave this charge in an interview with Flo FM News, reckoned that the security agencies were duly consulted before the extension of restriction hours to 9 p.m. and challenged the operators to heed the governor's advice.
They should see this action of the governor from a proper perspective. They should see it as a direct challenge to them to rid the association of criminals. If government notices a return of crimes using keke, action will be taken. We believe as a government that it's a handful of criminals that have infiltrated the keke unions. People who operate keke are decent family men, but a few criminals will enter the business and use it to rob people and give the union a bad name.
Abia State Police Public Relations Officer Geoffrey Ogbonna also confirmed that police officers have been properly communicated on the new order.
We have gotten a note of that, and I believe most of our people listen to radio, but there is also a medium of our own internal communication, which we are using to communicate to all the officers, for them to be properly notified that His Excellency has extended the keke time operation in the state. So every police officer should heed to the order made by the executive governor of the state, which is final.
Flow News at 6 p.m. continues shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Do stay tuned. Thank you very much for staying tuned. And now straight to business. The nation's external debt stock rose by 148% in almost 4 years of President Muhammadu Buhari administration. This is according to data from the Debt Management Office. The external debt soared to $25.61 billion on March 31st, 2019 from $10.32 billion on June 30th, 2015. The debt owed to the World Bank rose to $8.90 billion from $6.19 billion in the period under review. And outside Nigeria, Sudan's ruling military council and opposition leaders have signed a power-sharing accord after all-night talks. Sudan has been in turmoil since the military ousted President Omar al-Bashir in April. The deal lacks crucial details, which is expected to be debated on Friday. And in sport, we cross over to Egypt, where our man David Oku is standing by. And of course, remember, Nigeria will be playing Tunisia in the third place match at the ongoing Total African Cup of Nations there in Egypt. David, good evening to you. It's 12 minutes past 6 p.m. here in Nigeria. How is the Super Eagles of Nigeria preparing for that match? And what about the team list, those that will be playing against Tunisia tonight? Do you have an idea of that?
Yes, good evening, Michael. Good evening, all. It's a pleasure to join you on Flo 94.9 FM. In less than 2 hours' time, the Super Eagles will kick off against the Carthage Eagles. Talking about the team news is yet to be out. In about an hour's time, it will be released there for both sides. But at the moment, I'm at the Al Salam Stadium in Cairo, and it is beautifully lit and set up for the game to be held tonight here. Like you can see, the colorful lightning LED from the scoreboard here. Fans are beginning to come in bit by bit, but we journalists had arrived earlier to take a seat and also collect our tags from mixed zones, media stands, and all whatnot. Okay. It promises to be an exciting game. Talking about a proposed lineup, I do not know what changes will be made. Like I said, manager Genedro had talked about a switch in goalkeepers. So it means we could see Francis Uzoho make his debut tonight, but I cannot confirm that to you.
Okay. So, we've heard a lot about some persons that will not be playing tonight. We heard that Captain Mikel Obi will miss the third place match against Tunisia tonight. We also heard that the defender Chidozie Awaziem, who is serving a suspension, will miss that because he has been cautioned twice in the knockout stage. David.
Yeah, an unfortunate yellow card for Chidozie Awaziem against Algeria in that semi-final, so it means he misses tonight's game. Who is going to be coming in for him? Could be Olaoluwa Aina, because I'm not quite sure Abdullah Shehu is up to speed in terms of recovery, so we could be seeing Olaoluwa Aina from the right-hand side, and of course Jamil Collins maintains his left-back position. So, in my opinion, I was going to say that before we had that abrupt stoppage, I would have loved to see some of the players that are yet to have a kick in the competition so far to come in and try and make a mark. It's a third place losers final. For the records, Nigeria are yet to lose a third place match. I know Genedro, the fans, the players, and everyone associated with that country would love that record to continue.
Okay, David, it's
to give the players a chance.
Okay, David, it's the
chance to play.
Okay, it's the losers final, like nothing really at stake. So what is the spirit in the camp, you know?
No, there is something at stake. Of course, there is something at stake. It's a third place. The losers final is just in quotes. It's a third place match. So much is at stake here. Nigeria would stand a chance to win a medal, a bronze medal. And of course, don't forget the prize money for finishing third in the AFCON. And of course, when it comes to rankings.
Okay, it seems we lost connection there. But we will get back to David as event unfolds. Don't forget the match will take place 8 p.m. Nigeria time. So you go out and support the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and let's get the bronze medal back to the country. And that sports conversation, I will call it, wraps it this evening on Flow News at 6 p.m. on Flow 94.9 FM. Thanks for being with us. Remember that security is everyone's business. Provide useful information to security agencies to ensure your security. Join us at 6:45 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. every weekday for additional newscast. This is Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. You can send your views or information to flowfmnews@gmail.com or visit www.flownews.com.ng for more stories. This bulletin was edited by Samson Eze. My name is Michael Oni. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.